Will the Federal Reserve be able to save the day? The Federal Reserve, Fed, has raised interest rates to combat inflation, according to recent financial news. So, what exactly does that imply, and how might it affect ordinary Americans? The Federal Reserve was formed in 1913 by Congress in order to build a stable banking system. It was given three primary goals from the outset, two of which were to stabilize prices and lower long-term interest rates. Both are connected, as we will discover. Inflationary pressures may wreak havoc on an economy, particularly the middle class. Price increases prompt a rush to buy before they go even higher, causing prices to skyrocket even faster, in an escalating upward spiral. The higher prices mostly affect middle America, who lose purchasing power even as their wages are rising. The recent real estate market has demonstrated the effects of rapid inflation, with rising prices attracting wealthy investors looking to safeguard their wealth while pricing out others who need to live in such homes. Because the Fed's job is to keep prices stable, one approach to lower inflation is to make borrowing more expensive for individuals and businesses. Increased borrowing costs are intended to stifle spending and keep inflation at bay. Although the Fed does not have direct control over consumer interest rates, they do have a tool that enables them to influence them. It's known as the Fed funds rate, and it's the rate at which banks charge one another. Banks are obligated to have minimum cash reserves, but because cash does not produce interest, they do not want to keep more than is required. Banks borrow money from one another at the daily Fed rate to maintain required levels. As the Fed raises the interest rate, banks are forced to boost loan rates to meet the costs. Customers who pay a much higher interest rate will borrow less, spend less, and in doing so, minimize inflationary pressure. In the case of home mortgages, the paradoxical effect is that rising rates drive up the cost of ownership. Simply put, the Fed is increasing prices in order to lower them. This is a complex balancing act that does not always go as planned, and Wall Street is understandably worried. Uncertainty is a bigger concern for most investors than interest rates. To put all of this interest rate discussion in context, the Fed simply boosted its daily rate to a measly 1.5%. The Fed funds rate has been much higher than that since 1913, peaking at nearly 20% in 1980. The current actions are intended to return interest rates to more historical levels. The uncertainty over whether this measure would have the desired effect on inflation without damaging the economy in other ways is the current problem that the stock markets are facing. When inflation begins to drop, I believe that Wall Street will be in a much more positive mindset, with less anxiety about what the Fed is doing. I'll even go so far as to suggest that when inflation starts to fall, I wouldn't be surprised if the stock market rallies significantly. As always, I appreciate all of you for taking the time to view these videos. It really means a lot to me. If you find these topics entertaining, please throw me a like, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment down below. I look forward to hearing from you all. Take care, stay safe, and have a spectacular day.